Doing it in Primero into the wall, then just about avoids it. Is history going to repeat itself? Yes, it is. Off the track, into the wall they go. They go down like Skittles. Formula Danny is the winner of the first ever Squad Sprint Series. He is the champion.
Hello and welcome back to the Veloce Esports Squad Sprint Series. We're back for round number 7 at the home circuit for a number of our drivers in the UK. Of course, I am talking about Silverstone. My name is Justin Sutton, and joining me for today's commentary, it's Hayden Gullis.
Thank you very much, Justin. I'm very excited to join you in the commentary box today for the race in Britain. It's going to be very exciting, and I am thrilled to see just how our drivers tackle this circuit.
Yeah, it's of course a very well-known circuit, very well-known, especially amongst the drivers, so we'll see how they do. Last time out, though, in Bahrain, it was Hypers who took the victory with the two Jameses of Doherty and Baldwin rounding out the podium, which now means Hypers leads the championship, but by only 3 points ahead of Danny Beresday with James Baldwin, 17 points further adrift. Having a look at the grid, starting from pole position, it is going to be Thibaut Courtois with Visa starting alongside him in second position. Then it's Niren in third, Isaac from fourth position, and then we've got Raggy starting from fifth alongside Eterno Joe.
Starting on the fourth row of the grid is Arava, alongside him is Karki, and then lining up on the fifth row we have a very sexy man in P9. It is of course myself with Tom97 alongside me in P10. Storm is in 11th place with Alex Gillen lining up in 12th.
In 13th position, it is Simon Weigang. He'll be starting alongside Tiamat Marduk, Benjamin Daly from 14th position. Then it's James Baldwin alongside Danny Beresday, and your current championship leader, Hypers, is the guy starting from the very back of the grid, which in this series, though, of course, is a good thing. That's one thing that separates this from other series. If you're starting at the back, that means you're doing a fantastic job. And this is where the drivers will be doing battle for today's race. As we mentioned, it is Silverstone. It is an absolute classic F1 circuit, one of the best, most well-known circuits as well. So it's going to be an interesting one here. But, you know, Hayden, these guys know this track so well, so they're going to be pushing hard, I would imagine.
They do know it so well, but someone we will be looking forward to seeing is, of course, Thibaut Courtois. The Real Madrid #1 goalkeeper makes his debut here today, so just how will he do in today's race? I'm going to hand over to you. Let's get to the start.
Yep, we've got the 5 lights coming on now, on board with Isaac starting from 4th position. Having a look at Thibaut Courtois from pole position, it looks like he's gotten an all-right start. Visa with a better start. In fact, both of the McLarens with fairly good starts on the run down towards turn 1, but it is actually going to be the Mercedes of Raggy around the outside at turn 1, making the moves early in the race here. Looks like Visa starting to fall back. A little bit of contact in the back there, too. I think that involved Eterno Joe and somebody else. I see a Williams in the background there going off as well. Arav in his Ferrari doing well, though, trying to get past Visa now, gets the inside line through that left-hand king, and he is safely up into 5th position. So Visa already losing a number of positions. We saw a little bit of jostling, possibly some cars off the circuit as well, but I'm not seeing any major incidents.
Not at all. Everyone's sort of keeping it clean through the first section of corners. Great start from Raggy as well. It's interesting to see with this series, you know, the worst, when you start to have a bad few couple of races, you then start to go to more the front of the field when you start the race. So, of course, it gives you a better run into the first couple of corners as Raggy is going side by side with Veloce Isaac, but he just manages to hold on there, holding into P3, but now Arav is having a look down in towards the S's of Maggots and Beckett's. Isaac a little bit out of shape, Arav cutting the course to try and find his way the long way around the outside in towards Chapel. There's contact between the two of them. Arava is out straight away, Justin.
Oh, that is a big one. We move on board with Baldwin because the action does not stop. He shot up the middle to do a double overtake, and the VSC has been deployed. And I would assume because of that incident with Arab, we've got a couple of drivers. Simon Weigang making the overtake on Raggy going into the pit lane. That's some bold stuff. Love to see that. But a few drivers already we can see coming. A lot, actually, looking at the mini-map, a lot of drivers. At least half a dozen, maybe 8 or 9, in fact, coming into the pits. We got a team radio now.
No! I got a 5 second because I was like 58 all the time. When I thought I'm already in the pit, I pressed the throttle.
Oh no. Oh no. Danny's gotten absolutely punked. Oh, and that's a very long pit stop for Simon Weigang. I was laughing at Danny's team radio, but I failed to notice that the Renault, because of the double stacking in the Renault garage there, Simon Weigang has been held an absolutely massive amount of time, and he's going to be right at the back now.
Exactly, even I've managed to jump him in the pit stop phase, and of course that's going to be annoying for anybody trying to get past me because I am horrendously slow. As we've got Alex Gillen trying to go for the jump on Tom 97 at that VSC restart there, can't quite get the job done. Tom defending very nicely, out of shape was Alex Gillen there, but he catches it very well, and now he's got his Tom's teammate of Raggy just behind him. Will the Mercedes, oh actually no, Raggy is way behind actually. I think he's the first of the guys who actually came into the pits, so my bad on that. But we've got, it's interesting to see the two McLarens didn't come into the pits, and also Thibaut Courtois. Maybe because he is new to the series, he doesn't know the strats that the other guys do, where you come into the pits early trying to avoid the clean air, but because so many people came into the pits early on, Justin, it might not work for them.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it certainly didn't work out all that well for Simon Weigang, unfortunately. I mean, really, what else could he have done about that? I guess better communication. Oh, look at that. Tom 97 around the outside at Stowe on a Turno Joe.
Fight it back.
You love to see it. That was a fantastic move. I apologize for not rooting for the racing point, but that was really nice from Tom. Here we go with Alex Gillen now side by side on the start-finish straight. Oh, it gives a little bump. That's just mean. That's just cruel right there. But they are still side by side actually going through turn 1. But look at this battle for 7th position we've got going on. A lot of cars right in a very close position here. Formula Danny trying to make a move on Tiamat Marduk. He does have that 5-second penalty, of course. He does make up the position. He's up into 9th, and DRS has been enabled. We move back on board with Tom 97. He's going to be looking to make the overtake here on Visa. He's got the inside line. Visa's not really that much of an aggressive defender, so it looks like it's going to be relatively straightforward for Tom 97. He's up into the top 3.
Taking candy from a baby there, overtaking Visa. Of course, we know he is from FIFA football, so he doesn't really have that much racing experience, but he is doing well. Same as Official FNG, both coming from the FIFA world, holding on to their positions for the moment, and giving the guys who have a bit of experience a tough time to get past the mobile chicanes on track. Right. They're not making it too easy. As you can see, Alex Gillen, okay, he just gets passed through Max and Beckett. Proves me wrong there. Now we'll be able to see my teammate, Aeterno. Can he get the job done? Come on, Joe. Make it easy as well. Get past Visa, and let's score some points at this Britain Grand Prix. Round the outside, in towards, on the hanger straight, in towards Stowe. Can he get the job done round the outside of Visa? Visa holding on very, very nicely, but just doesn't have the pace to get the job done and hold position. Now we're on board towards maybe more of the back of the field, and we're watching a train follow me at the moment. So, Justin, I'll hand over to you for this one.
Yeah, we don't want you to have any sort of biased commentary or anything like that. I'm not sure what's about to happen here, but Isaac with the DRS open. Storm as well within DRS range. Hayden moves to the left-hand side. He's not going to defend the inside line into Stowe, and Isaac relatively easily takes that position, but here comes Storm. He's going to put it side by side with the Racing Point on the run down towards this left-hander here a bit later on the brakes as well, and puts Hayden down into 15th position, having been into the pits already, so it'll be interesting to see how this shakes up when the top 6 have made their way into the pits, because as you can see on the left-hand side of your screens, the top 6 have yet to be in the pits, so certainly Hayden is in the fight for a points-paying position, I would say, back on board with Formula Danny. He's got Hypers, his championship contender, just up the road, but again, remember, he's got that penalty, so he needs to try and make that overtake, build a gap. James Baldwin ahead of Hypers as well, though, so he's getting a little bit of assistance when it comes to DRS. Back over to the other Haas of Storm, who's trying to go around the outside at Brooklands on the Williams of Isaac, and it looks like he is just about going to get that done inside line through left field. They're still side by side actually as they come onto the old start finish straight, and actually the Williams is doing a fantastic job, still holding gun, and I think he's just about going to edge ahead of the Haas, and they are not going to be side by side through the right-hander of Cops, which is probably the right call. But back over to the battle for 6th position. On board with Hypers, or excuse me, for 7th position, on board with Hypers. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream on that Haas. He's going to have to go around the outside at Stowe. This is a move we've been seeing a few times, a very popular maneuver we've seen around the outside at Stowe. It works out well for Hypers, but it looks like Formula Danny can't quite make his way through as well, so he's going to have to stay behind James Baldwin for the meantime.
It's interesting to see at the moment you've got Tom 97 and Aeterno coming into the pits, but this is a lovely battle to see. Our 3 championship contenders. I know James Baldwin has dropped off a little bit for the time being, but it is interesting to see as Alex Gillen is going to go past another FIFA YouTube content creator. He goes up the inside in towards Brooklands. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. Niran not really fighting too much. He's playing the long game. He's going for points. He wants to just try and pick up as many points as he possibly can, even if they are going to be 1 or 2 points here or there at tracks, as this battle battle is getting even tastier as they go down the inside in towards Brooklyn's Formula Danny on James Baldwin. Will he come back in around the outside in towards Luffield? No, he doesn't. These guys are clean, they're smart, they know what they're doing, and the battle is going to continue all the way, most likely, till the end of the race. Although James Baldwin falling off ever so slightly from the back of Formula Danny. Hyper's currently leading this chain. He is leading the championship. They are actually in championship order at the moment as they go around the circuit, cutting back to TMF Marduk, who is hunting down the Ragmeister as he goes a little bit wide through Cop's corner, and they can now come into the S's of Maggots and Beckett's. The drivers starting to separate a little bit apart from that battle for P7 at the moment, although I think it's a few more positions because a couple of drivers pitted. But now we're going back onto the board with Veloce Isaac, who has the Mercedes of Tom97 right on his tail. He's got the DRS. He's going to be following all the way down the hangar straight in towards Stowe. Will he go around the outside? He's going to have to go the long way around. But as you said earlier, Justin, a very popular move for a lot of drivers. Tom getting squeezed out wide, and he is just completely disregarding the track limits. And Isaac just like, no, don't you dare. I'm taking that position back. And Will to Will action again, banging all over the place, fighting each other so hard. And this is probably going to bring me into the fight. However, I'm not quick enough to sort of really do anything about it.
Yeah, Isaac falling behind though, so that's unfortunate for him. He's going to lose out a bit of time there. Just a bit too much contact between Isaac and Tom97 there. I think everybody, you know, is just out there having a bit of fun and that sort of stuff. So the contact is certainly going to be expected, but I have to say that was an impressive overtake attempt by some more contact there for Isaac, banging wheels with Hayden there just a little bit and having to go off the circuit as well. But he gets back on. Let's see if he's going to try a move into Brooklyn's. No, he's going to stay behind for the meantime. Up ahead as well, there is that battle going on, and Isaac going very deep into left field, taking that double apex line, trying to give himself a better exit, and it actually has worked out fairly well. He is in a high ERS deployment, and he is going to breeze past Hayden just before getting into the right-hander of Cops. Up ahead, like I said, of Niren in the middle of a battle. I did see that he picked up a time penalty earlier, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of effect that has on his race. Having a look once again at Tiamat Marduk, certainly has been a contender for driver of the day multiple times from my point of view. Don't forget to let us know who your driver of the day is in the comments. But Tiamat Marduk has had some fantastic performances. He's not exactly a championship contender, but he's still putting on a heck of a show for us usually most weekends.
Vizza has come into the pits in the McLaren. It'll be interesting to see when Thibaut Courtois comes into the pits. I believe he is still currently leading this race. Our new man making his debut in today's race, currently leading the way. Of course, he was on pole position as he is new. And if you are new to this series, the grid is reversed from the championship position. So if you're first in the championship, you will start at the back. And if you're new, and if you are at the last position in the championship, you will start at the front, in case that was unclear at the start of the race. But now we're watching on board with TMF Marduk going round the outside of Raggy in towards Brooklyn. So Raggy makes it very easy for him. A lot of these drivers are trying to be smart at this stage of the season. They want to try and pick up points. There's a lot of mini battles going on around in the championship. Not everybody is battling for first position, as here we are, Thibaut Courtois back on our screens, the Real Madrid #1 goalkeeper, and it looks like it's going to be an easy overtake for Alex Gillen as he gets past Thibaut.
Yeah, not surprising there. Of course, Alex Gillen on the harder compound tires compared to Thibaut Courtois. So he's doing a fantastic job, actually, really making these tires go the distance and just getting absolutely everything out of them. He's only just now being overtaken by an Apex Online Racing champion. So doing a fantastic job out there, you have to say. We turn our attention towards this incredible trio, once again, of Hypers, Danny, and James Baldwin. And these three are just coming to the end of lap 7, just starting lap 8, so 6 laps still to go for these guys. But Hypers, at the moment, you have to say, is looking pretty much bulletproof. We haven't seen any sort of major mistakes. And again, Danny with that 5-second time penalty. At this stage, I have to say, Hayden, I'm not super confident in his ability to overtake and build a gap that size. And it's just looking better and better for Hypers as each lap goes by.
It is looking really good for Hypers, and we said before Bahrain, or at least you guys said, that he was so consistent. He hadn't actually won a race before Bahrain, and he was still in that championship fight because he was picking up second and third every single race, and now he's got a race win under his belt. He is leading the championship, and it looks like it could be another one depending on where Alex Gillen and Thibaut Courtois come out, because they have yet to pit at the moment, so they've still got a bit of a way left to go in this race, but there's 11-second gap to Thibaut and Alex Gillen, so it looks like that those guys should be able to jump them as we're back on board with Formula Danny. Daniel Beresnay hunting down his championship lead. I know there is still a long way left to go in this championship. There are quite a few rounds, and every round is even more so important as it is a shorter championship to the normal one. As Formula Danny goes up the inside, down in towards Stowe on Hypers. Can he get the job done? It looks like he's going to hold on to it. Hypers not battling too hard with Formula Danny. He knows, or well, I hope he knows that he's got that 5-second time penalty. Of course, you can ask in-game whether the driver in front or behind has a penalty, and now he's just got to try and keep a gap.
And we got team radio.
Oh no, my DRS is stuck open. I don't know how bad that's going to feel, but oh man, that's so annoying.
DRS stuck open for James Baldwin. Again, one of the championship contenders and contender for the podium positions and even the race win here today, you have to say, especially with the number of laps that we still have to go. So that is unfortunate for him. And is that actually the Renault of Thibaut Courtois? I think it is. I think it is.
Yes.
I think he's and he's just ahead of Eterno. He's rejoined in 10th position. He's in the top 10. He's in a points-paying position, and he's got the freshest tires out of everybody. You have to say that is an unbelievable performance on his rookie debut.
It's looking very good for him. It depends. I wasn't really too sure on what tyres he went on. Is he going for, surely he's going for on the softs till the end, but if he's taken those softs that long into this race as Eterno goes round the outside, go on, son, get the job done for the Racing Point team. Come on, up the inside now in towards Luffield, and it should be easy. Will it be for Joe? Maybe not. He is on the softer compound of tyres. Niran actually holding on, doing a fantastic job on those mediums, defending against Joe Eterno. Now they're going to go down towards Cops Corner. It looks like it should be easy if you've got the inside in towards here, and there we go, but he runs it wide. Niran possibly coming back at him in towards Brooklands, in towards Magnus and Beckett, sorry. And it was interesting to see very shortly, I saw that Thibaut Courtois is on the medium tyres. So he's taken those softs very long as Niran's gone wide, and I'm going to say thank you very much and take that position and move up into P12. But yes, like I was saying, Thibaut Courtois on the medium compound of tyres, so maybe not getting the strategy right, taking those softs for way too long and losing so much time to his rivals.
Yeah, you have to say that maybe is a little bit of a mistake there. On the bright side, though, for those Thibaut Courtois fans who might be watching at home, he can absolutely push to his heart's content on those tires because they will easily last to the end of the race. He can push as hard as he wants, get into as much battling as he wants. No worries there whatsoever. So he can really push nice and hard, but you're right. I think he maybe lost a little bit of time staying out on those soft tires a little bit too long. But again, coming out in the top 10, considering the field of drivers that he's going up against and the amount of experience that they have, I really got to say this is an incredible showing and another solid candidate for driver of the day. Again, do let us know down in the comments who your driver of the day is, and we'll be sure to look through those and see if we can spot a trend. And I have a feeling we are going to be seeing a number of people commenting on Thibaut Courtois. But we turn our focus towards the battle that's actually just up the road from Courtois. This isn't that far. This is maybe a handful of seconds up the road. And this is between Tom97HD and Alex Gillen for 8th position. The Mercedes and the Red Bull running very close to one another through the Maggots and Beckett's section and coming on to the Hangar Straight, coming out of Chapel now. DRS for Alex Gillen. Will Tom97 defend the inside line? Yes, he does, but I think Alex is going to easily breeze past before they even get into the braking zone. He does indeed move that Red Bull up into 8th position. He's got about a 2-second gap to Storm up ahead, so he could potentially make up some additional positions. I'd say he's got a pretty similar pace compared to Storm, but this is now what we're really concerned about. Formula Danny is now ahead of his championship contender Hypers, who is down in 2nd position. James Baldwin as well, still right in this fight as well. You can see just a little bit further back as Hypers looks backwards at the Haas, who did go purple last lap actually, so going very, very quickly is James Baldwin, the world's fastest gamer. And we are on lap number 11, so less than 3 laps to go at this race here at Silverstone.
It's interesting to think, Justin, you know, if you're in Hyper's position, you're currently in 2nd place, if you know that you've got your rival ahead who's got a penalty, would you sit back? Would you just allow him just to stay in that 5-second window? Or do you want to prove a point that you can beat Formula Danny. Of course, the Season 1 Championship, an F1 Esports champion in the Constructors with Mercedes. Would you go and prove a point, or would you sit back and take that easy win?
I would go for it, 100%, and I think Hypers is going to go for it as well, too. We have switched over to Thibaut Courtois. We can get an idea of what that was. I said a handful of seconds. It's a little bit more than that. 6.7 currently the gap between himself and that battle for 8th position, where Tom 97 has just dropped outside of DRS range on Alex Gillen, which could mean that he could become a sitting duck for Thibaut Courtois. Again, he is running out of laps. Here are the leaders just coming to the end of lap number 11, so that means 2 laps to go here at Silverstone, and it is Formula Danny who is holding on to that lead. A pretty sizable gap, actually. It's grown to almost 0.8 of a second. James Baldwin, meanwhile, has closed the gap down to the Toro Rosso ahead of him. It's now less than 0.4, and they're about to get to a DRS zone. I think Hypers is just about going to be within range of Formula Danny. He is indeed. He has managed to maintain that less than 1 second gap to the Alfa Romeo ahead, so he is going to have that DRS in order to defend with on the rundown towards the left-hander here at Brooklands. So he does manage to hold on to second place, but he's really got to be concerned here now, because if he loses even a couple more tenths, he's going to lose that DRS, and he's going to have the world's fastest gamer, James Baldwin, just breathing down his neck. He's going to be absolutely relentless.
It is a very tricky situation for Hypers to be in at the moment. He's got the world fastest gamer, like you said, right on his heels, whilst he's also just trying to keep that gap to Formula Danny, and Formula Danny is actually pulling away from him. I don't know whether James has got any penalties. I don't believe that he does, so these two will be battling for the lead of the race. It's interesting to see as well, Ayrton is catching up to Thibaut Courtois, as well as Alex Gillen has caught up a massive gap down to Veloce Storm. But here we go, Hypers now going on the attack of Formula Danny, closing in massively down the hangar straight, which is exactly what he needs to do. Both these guys really using the regular track limit setting that the game is on for this current series to their advantage, just to try and eke out every single tenth of a second that they possibly can. But Formula Danny, great exit once again down on towards the start-finish straight. And here we go onto the final lap. Will Hypers go for the overtake on Formula Danny? Will James get Hypers and even take the race win? Only time will tell. We've only got a handful of corners left to go in this race, as it gets very tense, Justin.
This is incredible stuff. Again, there is that 5-second time penalty for Danny, but this is, it's all for pride here. Hypers doesn't care about that 5-second penalty. He wants to finish ahead of that Alfa Romeo. You can see he's been doing his best to try to manage his battery down at the bottom right-hand side. He's doing a little bit better as far as his ERS management compared to James Baldwin, who is just over 20% coming out of Luffield, actually, dipping down to less than 20% now as he accelerates full throttle on the run down towards Copse for the final time here in this race. And look at that. Look at the gap between Danny and Hypers as they make their way through the high-speed right-hander. They're going to be side by side as they get into the Maggots Beckett section. It looks like Hypers is going to take the lead. James Baldwin tries to sneak past Formula Danny as well, gets some contact for good measure, and unfortunately he's not going to be making that overtake. Let's see if he can get the exit that he needs. Coming out of Chapel onto the hangar straight for the final time. Will he be able to mount an attack on Formula Danny for second position in this race? Again, Danny with that 5-second penalty side by side between the Toro Rosso and the Alfa Romeo through Stowe around the outside for Danny. They're both off of the circuit, so wide. James isn't close enough. They're still side by side, actually, as they go into the left-hander around the outside for Formula Danny, getting the back end, kicking out a little bit as well, and they're going to be side by side across the finish, separated by not that much. It's hard to tell because of the penalty, but that was an unbelievable gap. I don't think I've ever seen a race finish that close, and Tiamat Marduk is going to come home for a top 5 finish. I can't say enough about this guy. He has been doing it in an absolutely incredible job, but it is Hypers who picks up the win. James Baldwin in second position with the fastest lap as well. I did mention that earlier when he had picked up the fastest lap, so it's going to be 19 championship points for him instead of the traditional 18 for second position. Then Danny Berezne, despite that 5-second penalty, still picks up a podium position. So what a result for him in just overcoming that adversity. Simon Weigang in the end taking home P4 and 12 championship points. Benjamin Daly, as I mentioned, another top 5 finish, 10 points for him. Then it's Raggy with a solid P6, 8 points for him. Alex Gillen scores some more points in P7, and then it's Tom 97 in 8th, Storm in 9th, and Thibaut Courtois getting points on his debut. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. Again, I have to say, a solid contender for driver of the day. Hayden Gullis finishing just outside the points-paying position. I imagine, I mean, we could ask you right now, but I imagine pretty upset about Thibaut Courtois coming into SquadSprint now. You're probably very excited about racing against him, and now you're cursing his name because he stole that final point if he hadn't been there. But Hayden did finish ahead of Eterno, who finishes in 12th. Then it's Niran, who put on a good show for us, didn't pick up any points in the end, and he did finish ahead of Visa and Isaac as well. A couple of DNFs from Erev and Karki after that huge incident, and then the did not starters. And that is how they looked at the end of the race.
Now heading over to the Drivers' Championship, and Hypers has pulled out a little bit of a gap over Daniel Berezny, but there is still a long way to go left in the season. James Baldwin currently sitting very comfortably in 3rd place. No one really challenging from behind, but if I know him very well, he will be gunning to try and get the top 2 and, of course, the championship win. Benjamin Daly doing a great job for the content creators, currently holding down P4 with Simon Vigan in 5th. Then Tiro Limitless currently in 6th place with Gillen in 7th. Storm is currently in P8 with Tom 97 in 9th. And Raggy rounding out the top 10. Now we move into a very interesting battle, of course, for P11. It's very close between these guys. Of course, myself leading the way in P11 with Arava in P12, Karki's 13th, Joe Wilkes, Eterno is in 14th with Isaac in 15th. Niran currently doing a good job for the McLaren team, of course, for a FIFA YouTuber as well in P16, 5 points on the board. Then Thibaut Courtois sitting at the back of the field, but of course he's only done 1 race. He's got a point on his debut, and there are still a few races left for him to pick up points. So don't worry, you Thibaut Courtois fans, he can still move his way into those battles. Jem Bullet Bassi, we haven't seen him for a while, but he will be returning very soon. He currently sits P18 with Ryan Littlemore in 19th, and Visa, unfortunately for him, right at the back of the championship.
In the Teams Championship, it is all about Alfa Romeo, who are currently holding on to a 27-point lead ahead of Haas, and then it's just 1 point between Haas and Toro Rosso. Very close between those two teams. Then it's about 31 points down to Renault at the moment, who are currently holding on to that 4th place position. Ferrari sitting in 5th with Tiamat Marduk and Arava. Then it's Mercedes in 6th position. Red Bull holding on to 7th with 35 points. Then it's Racing Point in 8th position with 20 points, 4 points ahead of Williams in 9th position. And once again, it is the FIFA YouTubers at McLaren bringing up the rear with 5 points so far this season. That is going to do it for today's episode. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and make sure to check out the debut of our new Pro Series on iRacing, which kicks off on Sunday at 6 p.m. GMT right here on the Veloce YouTube channel, where we can expect another roster of celebrity drivers, including Lando Norris and more. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time for Round 8 of SquadSprint.
Well, there's contact between the two of them. Former Danny goes up the inside, down in towards Stowe on Hypers.
And they're going to be side by side across the finish. But it is Hypers who picks up the win.